It is overtime here again at Old Favorite Friday, where we discuss incredible classic beers that we don't think get the love and respect that they so properly deserve. And this week, I'm thrilled to have the Alaskan Amber Ale. Alaskan Amber, I was introduced to years and years ago. One of the craft breweries that was not available in my area of the country that I ended up getting in like a trading box and ended up picking up that I really wanted to have because Alaskan is really known for this beer. This is their flagship. This is one of the only beers I've ever had from them, and this was the beer that kind of opened up the brewery. This brewery being around since 1986, and this, I believe, the first beer that they produced. Alaskan, like I said, I wish I knew more about their brewery, but I don't. I just know this Alaskan Amber Ale, and it's good enough. It's an absolutely incredible version of the style. They call it an amber ale, right? But they actually listed on their website, and they talk about this beer being an alt beer, which is a German-style beer, which has a lot of similarities with American ambers. If there is a difference, and if you look at the BJCP guidelines, you're probably going to notice that the alt beer style from Germany has a little more roastiness or nuttiness to it, and probably a little bit darker in color. And also, if you look on the American amber ale side of things, tend to maybe be a little bit more hoppy. But, everyone plays with those styles in their own way. They have their own interpretations. I definitely had American amber ales listed as that have had similar malt balance and profiles as this. It's really the choice of the brewer, how they want to label these things. But speaking of that style and, their pedigree, this beer has won award after award after award since its inception back in 1986. So it's high quality. It's been recognized by so many people, and people like myself in the industry that love amber ales, that love malty beers, still look at this as a benchmark. It's just one of the best versions of the style. If you're trying to make an amber ale or an alt beer as an American brewery, you do a lot worse than to come back and try this beer to check it out. The flavor profiles that I'm getting from this, I'm getting that nuttiness, I'm getting that roastiness, underlying caramel malt, really plush, full flavor on the tongue, kind of lighter to medium bodied, but rich and really, really layered. The hop profile here is less than American Amber, as I kind of stated earlier, but what I'm getting out of that is kind of floral, spicy, earthier kind of hop profile, and just a tinge of bitterness in the back end, but it really kind of ends with a smooth, mild sweetness. And each one of those things I described is kind of my wheelhouse for my perfect amber ale, if I'm trying to describe it. The other thing that I'm picking in here that I love in these colors, these red ales, these amber ales, is picking up a little bit of strawberry or berry fruit in general. People describe it in different ways, but I always say it's a strawberry. And it's not in every amber ale or red ale. We do a beer called Eyes of Amber, that's one of my favorite things about that beer is you're picking up that subtle hint of strawberry. And it's definitely there. So that caramel, that hint of berry, a little bit of spice from the hops, maltiness. I mean, it really is just a beautiful, beautiful beer. And what I love about this is the drinkability of it, because even though it has a tinge of sweetness and even though it's not super light, it's really, really crushable. And you can have this at your backyard barbecue when it's 95 degrees and you'd be perfectly happy with it. You can also sit down with it and pair it with a hearty meal, and it would pair and go really well with that too. So it's just really, really versatile. And it's a shame that this isn't available in South Florida, where I am. I had to bring this back with me from Michigan on a recent trip. If I had had this in South Florida over the last 3 years of doing this video series, this beer would have been featured. But I finally was able to get my hands on it. I got one can left, and I'll probably hold on to that for a little while. But talking about food pairings that we always like to do here, Alaskan on their website, they talk about loving to pair this beer with salmon. I think kind of across the board, salmon's a really good pair for a lot of red ales, amber ales, alt beers. I would like to see this, if I was like making a dish from scratch to pair with this, I might do something like a cedar plank salmon, or just like cedar chips in the grill to get some of that woody flavor. I think it would go really, really well and lend into some of those kind of more toasty, nutty flavors that come off of this beer. And maybe even looking into like kind of a honey mustard glaze. Mustards go really, really well with red ales and brown ales. Those are two beers that go well with mustard, as long as it's not too sharp and way over the top. And a honey mustard kind of mutes that, adds some sweetness to it. That sweetness would blend really, really well with the other flavors of the amber ale. So that you can't go wrong with. But when I was drinking this beer for the first time recently, I was thinking about a mushroom risotto. I love risotto. It's a dish. It's a comfort food for me. I love the earthy flavors and the creaminess, the earthy flavors of the mushroom, obviously. And those earthy flavors and richness, I think, with kind of those those nutty, sweeter flavors of the amber would be a really, really good contrast and add something to those dishes that was really, really interesting. So that's what I would do if I had a chance to pair that last can. Maybe I'll make a mushroom risotto this weekend. We want to hear from you what you'll be drinking this week for Old Favorite Friday. We want to get suggestions of other beers that we should be doing for Old Favorite Friday, beers that you love that you don't think get enough love and respect. And if you ever try any of these food and beer pairings out, we'd love to hear about that too. But thank you guys very much. Please like and subscribe. Please poke around the channel, find other videos just like this talking about incredible classic beers, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.